It was hard to know who was more crazy. Me or everyone else.
From its opening moments, Mad Max Fury Road seems to present another standard action film with another standard action hero. A gruff, capable man alone against the world, Max is reminiscent of so many other male action heroes we've seen before. But what if I said that behind the car chases and flame-throwing electric guitars, there was a movie that challenged the male-dominated genre? Through our dual protagonists, Max and the badass Furiosa, let's see... Enter the world of Fury Road. Water is scarce, society is gone, and the only order is run by the tyrannical Immortan Joe. It's a world where warriors sacrifice themselves in the name of glory and sick stunts. Action heroes like Max should thrive. But in Max's opening moments, not only is he captured, he's also branded, muzzled, drained for blood, and mounted on a car like a twisted hood ornament. Max is turned into an object, just like all the other men and women in this hyper-masculine society.
Because everybody in this story, except the Immortan Joe, is in some way a commodity. Max himself is a trapped animal who's a blood bag. A Furiosa is a warrior.
But then there's Furiosa. Surrounded by loyal troops and facing down the villain himself, Furiosa gets a much more standard intro. Both within the story and within our own society, the fact that a woman action hero starts off this strong is remarkable. On top of that, it's Furiosa's choice to escape with the war rig and Immortan Joe's secretly smuggled sex slaves that catalyzes the plot. For all terms and purposes, Furiosa is the protagonist of Mad Max's movie. In a genre where often men are the moving force and women are the supporting role, Fury Road immediately flips that narrative. Furiosa takes the main stage while Max is relegated to the sidelines. Also, Furiosa is allowed to be dirty. She isn't kicking ass down a hallway with perfect hair and makeup like other female heroines. She's covered in dirt and grime and sweat and blood. Just like Max. And then the two meet. Both Max and Furiosa are extremely competent when they fight. And while Max wins the fight and takes off with the war rig, it's Furiosa who ultimately wins.
Kill switches. I set the sequence myself. This rig goes nowhere without me.
This creates the greatest dynamic in the film, the partnership between Max and Furiosa. In action films like The Matrix or Iron Man 2, the female protagonist usually takes a supporting role to the male protagonist. But after this meeting, Furiosa and Max work together as equals. What's better is that this partnership isn't just one built on violence. Through allying with Furiosa and the rest of the wives, Max becomes more human again.
It's okay. Sleep. Get some rest.
The greatest scene of this duo happens halfway through the film. Chased by the insane bullet farmer, Max has a rifle with 3 bullets. He misses once, twice, and then Furiosa asks to take the gun. And rather than being macho and proving he can shoot, he swallows his pride and gives Furiosa the gun. Right here, Max trusts Furiosa to get the shot, and Furiosa trusts Max to steady the rifle.
Don't breathe.
It's scenes like this, of man and woman working together, that deconstructs the standard action hero relationship. Furiosa saves Max's life, Max saves Furiosa's life, and both of them rely on each other for support.
This is the sequence. 1, 1, 2, 1. Red, black, go. You have it?
It's a growing trust through the film that flourishes against a society that treats women like cattle and men like toy soldiers. But the way this duo truly deconstructs a standard action hero is how they rely on each other emotionally. In hypermasculine culture, men aren't allowed to show emotion.
There's no crying! There's no crying in baseball!
When Max goes off on his own to finish off the bullet farmer, he comes back emotionally out of it.
You're bleeding. That's not his blood.
What is this?
It's mother's milk.
But then he washes his face with mother's milk, a symbolic baptism of femininity. And when Furiosa realizes the green place, the paradise she sought throughout the film, no longer exists, she collapses in despair. But it's Max who convinces her to come back into the fray.
So we take the war rig and we charge it right through the middle of them. At least that way, you know, we might be able to, together, come across some kind of redemption.
Scenes of one character tending to another's wounds in an action film are usually depicted as a woman tending to a man as a sign of intimacy, but at the end of the film, Furiosa is stabbed and gravely injured. Only Max, who still has his IV line from being a universal donor blood bag, can save her. And as Max tends to Furiosa's wounds and saves her life, he also tells her his real name.
Max. My name is Max.
It's a show of trust, support, and vulnerability that not only switches the gender dynamics of this kind of scene, but also concludes both their arcs. Furiosa is ultimately the one that kills Immortan Joe.
Remember me?
Max saves someone after being haunted by those he couldn't save.
Come on, Pa. Let's go.
And both learn to become vulnerable with another person, even in the harsh wastelands. The two part at the end of the film, and they go their separate ways. But as Max leaves, in the final shot, he is no longer an action hero alone against the world.